Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Survival Strategies in TEFL, a series of LinkedIn events. So far, it has been audio, but we decided that because of the content, we can transform it into a webinar. Survival Strategies in TEFL are a series of events in which distinguished colleagues share their views on thorny teaching issues. This series aims to act as a forum in which people can express their own personal views freely and share them with the international educator community. In today's discussion, we're talking about promoting inclusion in education and how technology can help. I met our guest today several years ago at several IATEFL conventions, and I was impressed by his expertise and his knowledge of how technology can actually be exploited and can be used to the benefit of our students. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Joe Dale, an independent language consultant who's an expert in technology. Joe, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sir Demetrius. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And thank you to everybody coming along live today. It's a real pleasure to be here. We're going to have the presentation for about 50 minutes or so, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. If you want to ask me a question during the session, feel free to do so. Just put a Q and then your question in the chat. That's absolutely fine. And let's make a start on the first slide officially. So as you can see, I've got my Twitter handle there on the screen. So it's @JoeDale. If you're not following me already on Twitter and you'd like to, then feel free to do so. I've now got about 34,500 followers on Twitter, and I would love to interact with you or retweet messages that you might have. That would be amazing. I have been on Twitter since 2007. And it's one of my main ways of improving my own professional development, as well as trying to support lots of teachers all over the world. My email address, as you can see as well, is joedale@talk21.com. If I give you a little bit of background about myself to start off with, if that's okay. So my background is I was a languages teacher for 13 years. I taught French at secondary school level for 3 years, and then 10 years at middle school level, 9 to 13-year-olds. On the Isle of Wight, which is where I live right now in the south of England. And then for the last 13 years or so, I've been a consultant and a trainer. And as Demetrius mentioned, we have met quite a few times at the IATEFL conference as part of the Learning Technology Special Interest Group. So it's a real privilege to be here. And I really hope that you find the content useful and relevant. Okay, you can see that we've got the live captions happening as well, which is great. There's lots of things happening on the screen at the moment. And let me give you an overview of the sorts of things we're going to be talking about. So as you can see here, it's a very practical session. We're going to be looking at a number of different web tools and apps and programs in order to make language classrooms more accessible by using certain types of software, which can, for example, generate closed captioning, or can allow you to have text read back to you, or can allow you to dictate into the microphone and have your voice turned into text, or how you can create a transcription of some audio, etc., etc. So there's really lots of different ideas, which I'm hoping you're going to find very useful and very relevant, and you can put them into practice straight away. As you can see, we are recording the session. So you will be able to watch this back as many times as you want to. The recording will be available on my YouTube channel, which is available at JoeDale100. So if you just do a search on YouTube, you will find it. And I'll distribute the link to Demetrius, who can then send it out to everyone via LinkedIn, via those people that registered. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. And let's go on to the first slide. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is called Naturalreader. Now, Naturalreader, one of the reasons I really like it is because it does work on all devices. So there is an online reader tool. There's also a Chrome extension, and there's an iOS and Android app. So it really does work on everything. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to take some text and have it read back to you in the language that you choose. So let me show you how it works. If I come out of this presentation like this, and I go to here, you can see this is what it looks like. This is the live website, and I click go to online reader. It will ask me to log in, so I will log in with my Google account. And once I've done that, then it will show me the last text that I put in, which as you can see is in French. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the BBC website. This is live on the BBC website, and I'm just going to grab some text here. So I'm going to click on here, Jeremy Hunt talking about everyone will have to pay more tax. What a lovely story to talk about on a Sunday afternoon. And so here you can see that we have some text. So let's imagine I want to take some of that text, copy it. Oh, let's do that again. Take some of this text like this, and then copy it, and then put it into the Natural Reader interface. So I can now right-click that and click paste. Of course, you could take your own text. It doesn't have to be on the web. It just so happens that's what I'm doing right now. Now, once I've done that, I can click on the little icon here under Voices. And you can see here that at the moment, Julie has been selected, and that won't work because obviously this text is in English. And if I try to play it with Julie being the speaker, it will be English pronounced in a French accent, which is not what we want. We want to have English here instead. So I'm going to click on the English option. We're going to have George speaking here. And I'm now going to click the little X there, and I'm going to press play. Here we go.
Everyone will have to pay more tax under plans due to be announced on Thursday, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says.
So you can hear, hopefully, that I was able to play that, and I have shared the computer sound, so you should have been able to hear that okay, I think. And it means that you can then hear that text being read back as a model of pronunciation, which can allow students to have more independence in their language learning and to make sound spelling links. Now, you can also do things like speed up the playback. I can, for example, move the slider up like this, or I can move it down like this to make it slower. Let's have it a bit slower. Let's see what that sounds like.
Offering a message few ministers would risk saying out loud, Mr. Hunt told the BBC.
So as you can see there, it was being read back at a slower speed compared to the original speed that I had. So that's quite nice, the way in which you can adjust the speed really easily to the speed which best suits individuals. So it's good for differentiation in that way. There are some other options here, but some of these are premium options. So for example, if you want to convert your playback to MP3, then that is a premium option. But there's a few other things here which I don't have time to go through right now, but that is something that you can explore in your own time. So that's called Natural Reader. You've also got the Chrome extension that I talked about. Now I have that installed already, and you'll see here that I have the Chrome extension link at the bottom here. I'm going to be sharing the whole presentation with you, so you'll be able to click on the link there and to get the Chrome extension. You can install Chrome extensions in the Chrome browser as well as in the Microsoft Edge browser. So if you go to the Chrome Web Store in the Microsoft Edge browser, you can click on a little icon at the top, which enables you to use Chrome extensions within that browser. So that's fantastic. So the fact that I've got the Natural Reader Chrome extension installed, it means I can select some text, I can right click, and then one of the options here, as you can see, is read selection. So if I click on read selection, then what will happen is
everyone will have to pay more tax under plan due to be announced.
Now, exactly what I was suggesting was going to happen has happened right now. So the text is being read back with a French accent, which is not what we want. But this is what the Chrome extension player looks like for Natural Reader. So now what I can do is click on the plus icon, and I can now choose the language that I want it to be read back in. So you can see here that you have a whole list of different languages that you can choose from, which is fantastic. Not every single language you can imagine, but we have lots of useful languages. So let's click on Susan, and now we'll press play and see what Susan sounds like.
Everyone will have to pay more tax under plans due to be announced on Thursday, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says.
There we are. Now you can hear that sounds quite robotic. The tool I'm going to show you in a moment is called Immersive Reader, which I think sounds better. It's a better model of pronunciation, but it is, it is a tool which works on all devices. You can adjust the speed here in the way that I've shown you already, and that's it. And there's a few other things here, some of which you can obviously explore in your own time. The MP3, convert to MP3, again, that's a paid for feature. But you could record the screen using a tool like Screencastify or Loom or Screencast-O-Matic, which would allow you to record the screen while that was playing if you wanted to have a video version with the sound, and then you could always convert that video into an audio-only outcome if you wanted to. But by default, to export as MP3, you have to pay for that as a feature. Okay, so hopefully that's nice and clear on how to use Naturalreader. If we go back to my slideshow, and we'll move the webcams over there, that's fine. And let's go to the next one. Now, for the next one, this is called Speak Selection in iOS. And the way that it works is you go to the settings option on an iPad or an iPhone, and you tap on accessibility, and you'll notice that one of the options is speak selection. So what you can do here is you just have to turn it on, and then you can then choose the speaking rate. Now, what that allows you to do is it allows you to select text on your iPad, be it on the web or be it in the Notes app, and it should then, once you've done that, a menu will appear. Once you've selected the text, you hold your finger down on a word, and then you'll get a blue handle appearing either side of the word. You just move the blue handle to make the selection that you want. And then when you take your finger off, in the menu that comes up, one of the options is speak. You tap on speak, and it will then read it back to you in that language. Now, I'm going to try and do this live. Do bear with me. I'm going to click the new share option and choose the iPhone, iPad option like this. And as you can see, it says a plugin is required. So I'm going to click on the install menu. It always seems to do this, even though I've installed this many times. And what I'm hoping in a second is it will allow me to share my screen, although it's not actually doing that right now. And this is exactly what happened yesterday in the conference. But when I was doing this before I was presenting, it did work. So I will just try this one more time. I'll click new share, iPhone, iPad, and click share again. And it's saying that same message again. So I get the impression there's some issue around why it's not working. I don't know why that is, but never mind. Yeah, it's obviously not going to work. So if I just explain again, what should be happening is once you've turned on speak selection, then on your iPad, if you've, let's say, written some text or you have gone to a web page, you simply select the text that you want to select. And then you take your finger off the selection, a menu will then appear, and one of the options in the menu is speak. You tap on the speak option, and it will read the text back to you in that language. But for some reason, I don't know why, it's not allowing me to share my screen, but that's fine. It's not a problem, as long as everyone understands the principle. So that's how you do that on an iOS device, which is fantastic. Now, the next extension I'm going to talk about is called Use Immersive Reader on websites. For those people that don't know what Immersive Reader is, it's a Microsoft tool that comes with Word, for example. It comes with PowerPoint, with Class Notebook, with OneNote, with Wakelet, with Flip, formerly known as Flipgrid. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to select some text, run the Immersive Reader, and then you can do a number of different text-based activities that can particularly help with reading, with accessibility, and with dyslexic learners. And it so happens there's a non-official Chrome extension called Use Immersive Reader on websites, which allows you to replicate exactly the same functionality. If you're in, let's say, Word, let me see if I can replicate this right now. If you're in Word, what you do, it's let's just copy that text, which is probably still on my clipboard anyway. But let me just copy this text right now. Go into Word like this, and then paste it in like that. Oh, let's not do that. Let's do it via Control V. There we are. So there's the text. And then if I select the text and I click on the View menu and I click Immersive Reader. So this is how you do this in Word. And you can see, there we are, it's now come up like this. Now, I'm going to go back because I want to show you how to do this in the web-based version, which you can do for free. Obviously, in the Word version, you need to have an Office 365 account. So here, in the web-based version, because I have this extension installed, I can right-click the highlighted text, and I can choose where it says, help me read this. Can you all see? Help me read this. And that's there as an option when I right-click, because of the fact I've got the Use Immersive Reader on Websites extension installed. So if I now click on that, you'll notice that what happens is this will now appear. I'll just get rid of the Naturalreader player, which I don't need anymore. And now you can see it looks exactly the same. Now, what's brilliant about this is the fact that it will recognize the language automatically. You do not need to select the language as you do with Naturalreader. It just recognizes it automatically. And you've got other simple things like changing the speed, etc. So let me show you how it works. And I just press play.
Everyone will have to pay more tax under plans due to be announced on Thursday, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says.
Okay, now you can hear, I'm sure you can hear that the model of pronunciation is much better. The quality of the pronunciation is much better compared to Naturalreader. But the disadvantage of this is it won't work on all devices. In other words, well, it is possible, I will mention this in a moment, it is possible to use Immersive Reader on, for example, an iPad, but you're much, much more limited compared to what I've shown you previously with Naturalreader. Because there isn't an Immersive Reader app, but I'll talk about a workaround in a moment. Now, we've played back the audio. If I click on the voice settings, then what I can do is I can choose male or female. I can also have the speed of the voice slowed down as well if I want to, like this.
Offering a message few ministers would risk saying out loud, Mr. Hunt.
Okay, I'm sure you'll agree that the quality sounds great. If you make it particularly slow, it does sound as if the voice has had a few beers, let's say. Let's have a listen.
Hunt told the BBC, I've been explicit that tax...
As you can see, but it's good in the way that the learners can choose how fast or how slow they have the text read back to them, which is just wonderful, I think. So now that's similar to Naturalreader, but what I particularly like about this one compared to Naturalreader is are these three options that you have up here, which are just amazing. So for example, if I click on the text preferences option like this, then you'll see that this pane on the right hand side has now appeared, and I could do things like I can change the text size really easily like this. Okay, I can change the font like this. Okay, for the increased spacing, I can choose whether I want to have increased spacing between the lines, which could be helpful for particularly for dyslexic readers. So that's a really nice feature as well. Likewise, for dyslexic readers, you've got these different themes that you can choose. So for example, if you want, you can have like a yellow background, or you can have a blue background or a green background, etc., etc. So I think that's wonderful as well. In addition to the text preferences, you have the grammar options. So if I click on that, you can enable all these different functions. So here you can see that I can delineate the different parts of speech in the text by saying which ones are nouns, which ones are verbs, which ones are adjectives, which ones are adverbs. And I can show the labels at the top. So I can have, for example, the letter V, ADJ, etc. Above the different words in the text. I can also enable the syllables option as well, which could help with pronunciation, for example. So that's really useful also, and that is the grammar options. And then the last feature, which is also great, is the reading preferences. If I click on that, I can enable what they call line focus. And as you can see here, I can press play like this.
Taxes are going to go up. He confirmed he would be giving details about...
Okay, and it's going through the text line by line. Now, in the olden days, I can remember doing this using a ruler and literally moving the ruler one line down at a time, but this is the digital way of doing the same thing. If you prefer to have 3 lines at a time, then you just click on the 3 lines option, or get rid of the line focus completely. But some dyslexic readers may say that if they see the whole text in one go, that it might be difficult for them. It might seem as if the text is swimming, literally swimming on the page. So by having line focus, it makes it easier for them to access the text, and it's not so overwhelming for them. Other ways in which you can help as well with supporting literacy is with the picture dictionary. So if I, for example, go along to a particular word and click on it, you can see here that there's a picture dictionary helping to let the reader understand what the word, in this case, energy, means. Not only have you got a picture here, you've also got the pronunciation like this.
Energy.
Okay. Now, there isn't a picture for every single word. It's normally nouns that there are pictures for. So let's have a click on some other ones, like the adjective wealthiest. Oh, no, so here there is one for an adjective. So that's really helpful. That gives you an idea of what the word wealthiest means. Let's look at loopholes. Yeah, so for here, there isn't anyone for, there isn't a picture for the loopholes one, but I can listen to the pronunciation.
Loopholes.
Like that, etc. Let's see for mess, if there's anything for mess. Oh, there we are. There's one for mess as well. So let's have a listen to that one.
Mess.
And you get the idea. Now, if we click here, you can also see that you can translate. Now, you can translate word by word, or you can translate the whole document. So let's imagine if I wanted to choose another language. If I choose, let's say, French. I appreciate that not everyone will be a French speaker, but I've got the by word option here selected. And if I click on the word people, for example, like that, not only am I getting the images, but I've also got, now that's interesting because it's saying les, which is not correct, is it? So let's just have a quick listen.
People.
And then
Les.
I don't know why it's put that, because it should say something like Jean or... Anyway, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. So let me click on something else, like the words bills. That should be very straightforward. There we are, facture. So that's fine. So I'm not sure what was going on there in the previous example. So let's have a listen.
Bills.
So you have the English pronunciation, and then you have the French pronunciation.
Facture.
Like that, with a nice, cool pronunciation. So hopefully that's nice and clear on how that works. And then the final thing you can do, if you want to, is translate the whole document. Like that. That will then turn everything into the language that you've chosen. So I think that in general, this is fantastic for promoting autonomy, for giving students support, particularly dyslexic readers, in the way in which they can change the theme. They can choose to see all the nouns, all the verbs, all the adjectives, all the adverbs in certain colors. They can have the line focus. They can translate individual words or the whole document. I think it's really brilliant for encouraging independence. So that's Immersive Reader, or use Immersive Reader with websites, the unofficial version. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, now if I go to the next slide, you can see that the next Chrome extension I'm going to talk about is called Helperbird. There's also a Google Docs extension as well, also called Helperbird, and that allows us to use Immersive Reader in these two contexts. So if I, again, come out of the presentation like this, let's just do that again. Okay, exit slideshow. And then if I go back to this article from the BBC, if I go back to here, this time, if I right click the text, you'll see that one of the options is Helperbird. And you'll see that in addition to Immersive Reader, there are other features which will also help with accessibility. I must admit, I do have the premium version of Helperbird. The people from Helperbird, for some reason, contacted me about a year ago or so, 2 years ago, and said, would you like the premium version? I said, oh, yes, please. But the View and Immersive Reader is definitely available in the free version. Okay, so if I click on this right now, then you'll see that exactly the same interface has happened as I showed you a moment ago, like this, and it's exactly the same.
Everyone will have to pay more tax under plans due.
There we are. So that's how it works using the Helperbird Chrome extension. But Helperbird have also made it possible to use Immersive Reader within Google Docs. So by default, as I mentioned, you can use Immersive Reader within a Word document, but now I'm going to show you how you can use Immersive Reader within Google Docs. So if I click here and I go back to the article and I just make sure I've selected it again, copy that, and this time I'm going to go to a brand new Google Doc. If you don't know how to make a brand new Google Doc, you can just use the shortcut called docs.new, which is really handy. So you can use docs.new, or to make a new slideshow presentation, you can put in slides.new, or sites.new for Google Sites, or sheets.new, or jam.new, etc., to make blank copies of these different resources by Google. So this is a Google Doc, as you can see. I'll just wait for it to load properly and we'll then get started. So as you can see there, it says type to insert. I'm going to click paste without formatting to add the text into the Google Doc. There it is. And then to enable the extension, what you do is you go to extensions, you go to add-ons, and you go to get add-ons. Having done that, you can then wait for the search box and you put in Helperbird like this. You click on the option there, and there it is. Now, I've already installed it, so I don't need to install it again, but you can see how you install it on your own machine. To do this, you would need to use the web-based version on, say, a PC or a Mac, etc. Okay, right. Having done that, what we can now do is we can now select the text, go to extensions, and you'll see that I have Helperbird installed. So I just click on the open option like that, move the webcam out of the way, and you'll see that the pane has now appeared on the right-hand side. Now that I've got the text selected, I can click on the green circle with the white book in it, and that will launch Immersive Reader like this. So having done that, you can see top right of the screen, you've got the diagonal arrow, which is double-headed. You click on that, and now we're now full screen, and I can click play and do all the things I should.
Everyone will have to pay more tax under plans due.
So that's how you can use Immersive Reader within Google Docs, which is very cool, I think, particularly for Google users. But of course, as I said, with Microsoft users, it comes as default. So that's wonderful. Okay, let's move that over there and let's go to the slideshow and let's carry on. So that's Immersive Reader in a variety of different contexts. Another way in which you can use Immersive Reader on an iPad is using what's called Microsoft Lens. Now, the key way of using Microsoft Lens is to digitize bits of paper and turn them into either PDFs or images or Word documents. So Microsoft Lens used to be called Office Lens, and you can see a screenshot of a tweet here from Damien Lonergan, who is an Irish teacher who teaches languages. And he was using this during the first lockdown in the pandemic as a way of digitizing worksheets. I use it all the time when I've been off on a trip, and I use it for turning all my receipts into a single PDF, which is incredibly useful. So you can see here that in this example, someone has taken a picture of this particular worksheet. And by doing that and selecting the document option, which is one of the options on the right-hand side next to the shutter button, you select document, you tap the shutter button, and then it will then take a picture of the document and put handles in each corner as well as on the side, as well as you can see in that particular picture. Once you've done that and you tap accept, it will then flatten that image as if it is a flattened version, a digital version of the paper worksheet. And then you can simply tap the add option and carry on in the same way and add more and more items to the final outcome, which, as I said, could be exported as an image, as a PDF, as a Microsoft Word document as well. So by doing that, you can digitize, let's say, paper worksheets using this tool, but also one of the options is to open the results in Immersive Reader. And what I've done is I have included a video clip here from Desi Tennyson, who's an Irish teacher and also an Apple professional learning specialist as well. He's a great person to follow on Twitter. And I'm not going to play the video right now, but if you watch the video, it will explain how to use Microsoft Lens in conjunction with Immersive Reader, again, for accessibility, which is fantastic. I can see Laura has used Office Lens to take photos of board work to upload with class notes for students to review. It's great. Yeah, perfect, Laura. Great idea. So you could export as an image, as a PDF, as a Microsoft Word document. Exactly that. That's great. Okay, thank you for that that contribution. So let's carry on. Another idea that I'm going to refer to now in relation to accessibility is the ability to grab image text using a couple of different tools. So in the Microsoft App Store, there's an app called PhotoScan, which if you launch it, it allows you to take an image of some text, as in the example on the left-hand side here, where we've got some some text in French, but this is not editable text because it hasn't been put through OCR. And as a result of that, now on the right-hand side here, you've now got the OCR version, which is now editable text, which is fantastic. This example was taken from a webinar which a language teacher called Rebecca Jones did last year, which I organized for the Association for Language Learning. Rebecca works at Swavesey Village College in Cambridgeshire, and she's a big fan of technology, as I am as well. And so you can see with PhotoScan, you can then grab the image text from an image and put it into a digitized version. The only thing I would say as a cautionary tale about PhotoScan is when you launch it, you do get adverts appearing on the screen. And when I looked at it last, it had sort of scantily clad ladies, let's say, in the advert. So it's just to be aware of that fact. If that is going to offend anybody, then clearly you either don't use the tool, or you can pay the £5, I think it is, to remove adverts. Now, I have contacted the developers on their website, and they haven't replied to me about this, which is a shame for sure. But I just wanted you to know that that is what will happen with these tools, which are free, that come with adverts. You can't always guarantee that the adverts will be appropriate, which is why I'm flagging this up at this point now. But the good news, if you're using Google tools such as Google Keep, is you can do the whole grab image text option really easily, and there are no adverts at all. So let me explain how this one works. With Google Keep, which is a free tool that works on all devices with a Google login. It's a note-taking tool, and you can also do things like drawing with it, writing text. You can record audio in the mobile app as well. But my favorite feature within Google Keep is the grab image text. So let me show you how this works live. If I come out of the document and click Exit Slideshow and go back to here, and this time I'm going to, I'm not sure why it's in yellow actually. Let me just refresh the page. There must be something that I've done on the computer. Okay, it's got rid of the yellow highlights now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screen grab of this text. And to do that, I'm going to use the free Microsoft tool called Snip and Sketch, which is the updated version of the snipping tool, which I know is very popular with lots of teachers. So this is Snip and Sketch. And if I click on the new option, it will allow me to grab the screenshot that I want. So I just want to grab that one, let go, and then I click Save like this. So as a result of doing that, I can now click on Save like that, and we're good to go. I'm now going to go to Google Keep here. I just see that someone's written a message. Office Lens in operation looks like teaching document camera. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There are different ways of doing the same thing, but obviously today I'm showing you Microsoft Lens. So now I've taken that screenshot. I'm going to click on the Google Keep, and I'm going to click the image option. I now just need to find that particular screenshot that I just took, which I think is this one here. Let me just double check. No, I think it's this one. And I click open. There we are. And yeah, it is. Perfect. So this is an image with text in it. So it's not editable at the moment. But if I click on the three dots here, you can see that one of the options at the bottom there is grab image text. It also says copy to a Google Doc as well, which is handy. So if you click grab image text, what happens is you scroll down and you can see that instantaneously, the Google Keep has been able to grab the text in the image and turn it into editable text. So this is now editable, as you can see. So I could then edit that, or I could just copy it, put it into a Microsoft Word document or whatever I want to do, or click the three dots here and click copy to Google Docs. If I do that right now, it will then create a Google Doc like that. I click open doc, and there we are. We've done it. So, I mean, that's really amazing, I think, to be able to do that. I can always obviously delete the image as well if I wanted to, but there we are. That's how that works. If I just want the text, so I could then use that as a way of grabbing some text on the web or wherever it might be and turn it into, let's say, a worksheet, or I can just, I can digitize any image with text in it. But you can also use this for handwriting. So if I show you this example here, if I go back to my Google Keep and I click here, that's the wrong one. Let's just do that again. Just move this. There we are. This is the one that I want. So as you can see here, there's an image literally on a piece of paper, and it says this is a test, which is my handwriting. And at the top there, it's from a hotel in Dublin called Academy Plaza, where I've been doing work recently there with European teachers, which has been a lot of fun. So you can see here on this piece of paper, I've written this is a test. Now, if I click on the 3 dots underneath and I click grab image text, what happens is it will allow me, as you can see here, let me just, I've already done this already, as you can see. So let me just delete that. So there's nothing there at all, just to show you how it's working. I click the 3 dots and I click grab image text, and there it is. So what it's done is it's been able to recognize the handwriting and it's been able to turn it into digital text, which is just amazing. Do have a play with this in your own time and see how effective it is with your own handwriting. But I was very, very pleased and impressed that you can use an OCR option with Google Keep with handwriting, and it will turn it into a digital version. That's just wonderful. Okay, let's carry on. And you can see here that I've made an animated GIF showing how to do that, which I created using a fantastic web tool called gifcap.dev, gifcap.dev, which is GIF CAP full stop DEV. And that allows you to not only to record the screen in a Chrome tab, but actually record the screen in general, like anything that's on your computer, you can record an animation for. So it doesn't record as a video, it records as an animated GIF. And I find that incredibly useful for demonstrating different ideas. My friend Jérôme Nogues, who is a Microsoft Innovative expert and is a French teacher, head of languages in a school in the northwest of England, he has got a tweet here. I took a screenshot of it. And what he has done is he's shown how you can take an image, upload it to Google Drive, and then if you right-click it and click open with Google Docs, it will allow you to OCR that image so that you've got the text written underneath, which is also amazing as well. So there we are. So let's carry on. This is an article which I came across recently from Wriggle Connect, which is an Irish education company. It was written by Holly Murray and Sarah Gibbons, and it's just a really nice overview of some of the tools out there to support students with dyslexia. So some of these things I've talked about already: Helperbird, Google Docs, Microsoft Lens, Immersive Reader. But there's other tools such as Microsoft's Seeing AI, which allows you to use the camera to point at different objects, and it will work out from the image which is on the camera what that object is. So, for example, if you point it at a cup, it will say, let's say, I don't know, a small blue cup, for example. Or if you point it at someone, it might say, in my case, a 35-year-old male with brown hair and blue eyes. It's normally very generous, let's say, with the age that it says for the person that it's pointing at. And then Google Lens is a similar type of tool as well, that also can be used, in a similar way. So do check out those ones as well from that article. The next thing we're going to talk about now is how you can use Microsoft Word to generate a transcript. So to do this, I'm going to do this live right now. So I click on the 3 dots here and click Exit Slideshow. And it so happens I've got a Word document open like this. As you can see, I'm just going to get rid of the text which is there and move this out of the way. And I'm going to click on the Home option like that. And you'll see that one of the options here is Dictate. But if I click on this option here, it's now saying Transcribe. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do, how you can make a transcription of some audio. So if I click Transcribe and I move the webcam over onto the left-hand side, here I can choose the language like this. So I'm going to choose English, United Kingdom, and I can upload audio. So I could take an MP3 file, for example, I've recorded on something else, and upload it into Word, and it will transcribe it for me. Or I can click the Start Recording option and do it live within Word. So that's what I'm going to try and do right now. Let's see if it works. Okay, so as you can see, what I'm doing in this example is creating a transcript of my voice, which can help with, for example, sound spelling links and giving the students confidence in their speaking, because they can see if they pronounced words correctly by looking at the transcript. Normally, this works very well, apart from perhaps with words that are proper nouns, for example. Okay, and then I'm going to click stop right now. So I've just paused the recording. I could then unpause it and carry on recording, but I'm happy with what I've just done. So now I'm going to click save and transcribe now. As a result of that, it will then upload that audio file to OneDrive. And as you can see, it has worked, which is fantastic. It also works out if there are different speakers according to the voice. And if I now click here where it says add to document, I can choose to just add the text, or with speakers, or with timestamps, or with speakers and timestamps. So I'm going to click on with speakers and timestamps, and there it is. I've got the WAV file and I've got the transcription. Let's just have a quick look, see how accurate it is, but it looks at a quick glance that it's pretty accurate. So so here it's saying sound sending links, and I said sound spelling links, so I can just change that quickly. Yeah, so there are a few mistakes, but basically it's very, very good, I think. I don't know what you think in the chat. Let me know, but I'm very, very happy with that. The next thing I want to show you is how you can use the dictate option. So to do the dictate option, I need to say as well, before I show you that, is that with the transcription option, with a Microsoft Office 365 account, you can do up to 300 minutes per month of transcription, which I think is very generous. If you're going to be transcribing more than 300 minutes per month, then that's an issue maybe. But there we are. That's a very generous limit, I think. So the dictate option, I'm going to click dictate, and now Microsoft is listening to me, as you can see, and it's turning my voice into text. Now, to change the language here, all you have to do is tap on the cog and change the language. I'm going to stop the microphone and show you how that works. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the cog. I'm going to change the language. I'm going to choose, let's say, French, and I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to try to do this in French. Here we go. So let's go to a new line, and let's see. Alors maintenant, je parle en français, et comme vous voyez, le texte apparaît devant nous. So for those people who are not French speakers, I've said, so now I'm speaking French, and as you can see, the text is appearing in front of us. So that's really nice, I think. That's great. So that's how you can do transcription and dictation in Microsoft Word. Now, for those people who are using Google Docs, for example, I'm going to show you how you can do something similar. So I'm going to get rid of the text like that. So we've got a blank document. I'm going to get rid of the Helperbird pane as well. I'll move my webcam over here. And this time I'm going to click on the tools menu and go to where it says voice typing. Now here, as you can see, I've got English UK selected by default, which means I can now click on this and dictate into my Google Doc like this. Okay, so now I'm using the voice typing option within Google Docs as a way of practicing pronunciation, and also to save time for the teacher when writing down their ideas. Full stop, new line, new line. I think this is a great way of being able to practice your speaking skills, to improve your confidence when speaking, and to check your spelling at the same time. Full stop. So that's really good. I'm really pleased about that. I did say the word practicing twice, so that's is a mistake, which I will now get rid of. And there we are. You can see again, that's very, very accurate. Now, you can change the language as well. Let me choose a different language. I will choose French again, and let's do it in French. Alors maintenant, je parle en français, et comme vous voyez, le texte apparaît devant nous. Okay, and I've said exactly the same thing that I said before, and it's working really well. If you want to create a transcript, there is a way of doing that in a Google Doc, but it's a bit of a hack, as it were. Let me explain what I mean by that. On my iPad, which I have next to me, I'm going to go to YouTube quickly to a video clip that I've done previously. And I'm going to go to, yeah, here we are. So I'm holding the microphone near on the iPad, near to, sorry, the speaker, should I say, near to the microphone on my desktop. And then all I have to do is press or enable voice typing and then press play on my device. Let's see if this is going to generate a transcript. Let's see. Here we go. Live from Japan as we speak, live from Sojo in Japan. Now, Elton has been a teacher for a number of years, many years. I'm sure he'll tell you about that in a second. And he's taught in places like Canada and Korea, and now he's in Japan. And I'm really excited. So there we are. That's working. If I now, and it just picks up my voice there from me just saying, there you are, it's working. So again, I could get rid of the bits which are obviously wrong. And you can see it's not going to be as accurate compared to using the Microsoft Word transcript option, but it's a really nice way, I think, of being able to generate a transcript using that hack by playing the audio on a separate device into the microphone that you're using in relation to Google Docs. I can see that I've got a comment here from Demetrius, a very practical way to encourage learners to listen to podcasts and use the transcribe feature to pick up unknown words or to understand difficult parts of the listening text. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, definitely. So let's go back to here. I've put another little video clip here from my friend Jérôme Nogues on how you can generate a transcript from a YouTube video. His YouTube channel is called Learning with Jay, and I would really encourage you, Jay as in the letter J, I'd really encourage you to check it out. Learning with Jay is wonderful. So that's how you do that. Let's carry on. This is just a guide to how you can use voice typing in the way that I've shown you already and how you can generate a transcript. There's also a little video clip here called Voice Typing Changes Everything, which goes into more detail about voice typing. For example, you can do things like format text and change the highlight color and that sort of thing, which I haven't personally developed yet. But if you want to know how to do that in English, then watch that video.
Do daughter here.
This is how you use the dictate option within Microsoft Word that I've demonstrated already. So that's great. Right, now let's have a look at closed captioning in Google Slides. Okay, so here what you do is you hover over the toolbar bottom left, you click on the three dots here, and you can see it says Caption Preferences. If I do that, I can choose the text position of the closed captions, and I can also choose the size as well. All I have to do once I'm ready is I click Toggle Captions, and now you can see on the screen that Google, we'll just go back a sec. What you can see now on the screen is my closed captions are appearing in real time when I'm speaking. Now, in the recording in Zoom, these will not appear. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They will appear, sorry, in the recording because of the fact I'm using closed captions within Google Slides. But if you enable the closed captioning within Zoom, as we have this running here as well, then that will not appear in a recording when you record with Zoom. But if you are using the closed captions option in Google Slides, then they will appear. And you can see I've gone for the very large text, and that again could be useful for promoting accessibility and giving students the possibility of improving their understanding by seeing the text as well as hearing the teacher's voice. So then to turn them off, you just click on the three dots there, Caption Preferences, and click back here. Now this, annoyingly, the closed captions are only available in English at the moment. They don't have it for other languages, which is annoying, but I'm sure that will change in the future knowing Google. You can also enable closed captioning in PowerPoint, which is wonderful. And I'm just going to show you live how to do this. And it's good to know as well that the closed captioning is available in a whole range of different languages. So let me show you this example. What you do is you go to the slideshow menu and you go to where it says always use subtitles. You click on that drop down there and you choose spoken language. So I'm going to choose English UK. And then you choose the subtitle language, and I'm going to again choose English. You can choose where the subtitles appear above or below. and then you're good to go. So let me show you how this works. If I click from current slide, this will now appear like this. And then I mean, obviously there's nothing on this slide, but let's imagine I'd produce a lovely slide or slide deck, then this would work fine. What you do is you hover over the bottom left until this floating toolbar appears. And the option that you want is the one in the middle there, which is a rectangle with a diagonal line through it. I click on that, and that will then enable closed captioning like this. Okay, so what's happening right now is my microphone in Microsoft PowerPoint is listening to me, and it's turning my voice into closed captioning in English, which is great. I then click the same icon again to stop the slideshow, to turn off the closed captioning, and then I've just stopped the slideshow. Now, one user case which I've been presenting, should I say, sorry, when I've been going to Dublin recently with a whole group of European teachers from literally all over Europe, places like Hungary and Bulgaria and Poland, as well as Spain and Italy and France, etc., is you could, for example, if you were having Ukrainian students coming into your class, then what you could do is choose Ukrainian. So I could, for example, be speaking in English, because that's the spoken language I've chosen, and then the subtitle language is Ukrainian. So now when I click from current slide, I don't know if anyone in the audience knows Ukrainian, but if I now click on here, I can be speaking in English, but underneath the slide is appearing Ukrainian. So as a result of that, if a teacher cannot speak any Ukrainian but has Ukrainian students coming into their class as a result of the conflict at the moment, then this could be a fantastic way of allowing them more access to the curriculum by virtue of the fact they can read the text. Now, again, this is not being recorded unless I'm using a third-party tool to record, such as Zoom or Screencastify or Loom or Screencast-O-Matic, or you can even use PowerPoint for recording the screen. I've never tried being able to record the screen, though, with the subtitles in PowerPoint, but you could certainly do that with a third-party tool. So that's how that one works. Okay, I'm now going to come out the slideshow and carry on from there. Okay, so that's how you can do closed captioning in PowerPoint and in Google Slides. Let's carry on. You can also have closed captioning in OneNote, which is explained here by the educator Mike Tolfson, who works in the educator department for Microsoft, and he's prolific in creating videos for different features from Microsoft tools. So that's how you do that there. I'm not going to play the video right now because we haven't got lots of time.
I'll be sure.
But there we are. Very quickly, I'm going to show you a couple of accessibility features within Book Creator. So if I come out of the presentation and I go to Book Creator, which I have here. If you don't know Book Creator, it's an amazing tool for making ebooks. And this is a front cover. So I'm going to click on the plus icon here, and I'm going to click on the camera option. And I'm going to get an error message because of the fact there's an error message bottom left there because of the fact that I have my video on in Zoom. So I need to turn that off. And then I'm going to click cancel and click the plus icon again and camera again. This time it will work because you can't have the camera working in Zoom and in Book Creator at the same time. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click record video and show you how to enable captioning like this. Here we go. Creating captioning in Book Creator is really easy. Look, it's as easy as this. Okay, so I've just done that, and now I'm going to click Use Video. It will now launch the video into, or upload the video into the page. This so happens to be the front cover, but of course it could be any page within Book Creator. You do have to wait a few seconds for it to render and to appear on the page. But once it's done that, then there we are, it's done it. What you can do is make sure that the video is selected by having the handles in each corner. Click the eye icon, and you can see here it says Add Captions. So I click Add Captions. You choose the language here, like this, etc., and you click Generate automatically. So as a result of doing that, you do have to wait a minute or so for it to generate the captions. And once the captions have been generated, you can always edit them. For example, when I do this, it normally puts the word book and creator with small letters. but you can change that to a capital B and a capital C. And then once you've done that, they are automatically baked into the video, which means that when you run the video, you'll be able to see the closed captions appearing in your book, which is just amazing. So if you haven't seen Book Creator before, it's wonderful for pulling together multimedia resources. You can use video and audio and drawings. You can also do things like add in maps and embed YouTube clips and embed other links as well. They also have an app store, which is admittedly very limited. You can do things like add Canva or Bitmoji or things like that. And there we are, we've done it. So I can now click on here and just change the B and the C to capital letters. And let's just check this. So creating captioning in Book Creator is really easy, full stop. Look, it's as easy as this. So that's all I have to do. And then I can then press done. And then now when I press preview or play and play the video, you can see the captions. Creating captioning in Book Creator is really easy. Look, it's as easy as this. So there we are. That's how it works. I can see I've got a question. Would you mind showing an example of how you have trained learners to use such tools independently, whether it is during lesson time or outside? That is not something I've done personally, because all I've done is I've presented to different teachers on how to use these accessibility tools. But I'm sure if you were to go onto Twitter and did a search, for example, for Immersive Reader or closed captioning in Book Creator, then you would find examples of how different teachers have been showing the students how to use this. As with any tool, all you have to do really is introduce the concept to the student, maybe model it for them, and then they'll be up and running in no time at all. And then that's obviously adding to their independence. So thank you for the question. Let me click on edit, and let me show you how to do the same thing with audio. So if I click the plus icon this time and click record and click start recording. In Book Creator, it is also easy to add a transcript for your audio contribution like this. Okay, so just on that, click use recording. There's my audio. I can tap on that. I can also make it bigger if I want to, and click on the eye icon. And this time it says add transcript. Another nice feature as well is you can make it invisible when reading, which is perfect for things like a personalized narrated photo story, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But if I just click add transcript, again, I can choose the language and click generate automatically. Then what it will then do in about a minute or so is generate the transcript. And as a result of that, you can make those sound spelling links based on the audio. And it's very accurate in the way that I've shown you already in other tools. So I think that the technology for creating transcripts nowadays is getting better and better, which is really lovely to see. I'm aware of time. If it's okay, I'll probably speak for about another 5 minutes, and then we will have, let's say, 10 minutes or so for questions. But if you have any other questions in the chat, then that will be lovely to see as well. But as you can see, doing these things live can take a bit longer, but I'm very happy with how everything's working so far, apart from being able to share my screen with my iPad. But there we are. So it should be generating the transcript in a second. There we are. It's done it. I click the done option. But first of all, I can edit any text like this, just as before. So in Book Creator, it's also easy to add a transcript for your audio like this. Okay, so that's fine. Then you click done. There it is. And now you can see there's a little sort of a Google Doc type icon there, which if I run the Book Creator to see it in the preview mode and click on open transcript, and there's my transcript for the book. There's another thing you can do as well in Book Creator, which is useful. If you click the plus icon here, you can see there's the text option. And here, if I click on the microphone, I can change the language. I'm going to change this to, I'm going to change this. It thinks I'm speaking in French when I've got, sorry, it thinks I'm, yeah, even though I'm speaking English. So let's choose English United Kingdom, English Great Britain, there we are, and stop. Right, so let's get rid of that now. And this is how you can turn your voice into text in Book Creator. Turning your voice into text in Book Creator is very easy using the dictation option, and you can change the language very easily in order to be able to create a transcription in any language you would like. Right, so that's, as you can see, very smooth. Let's see, so turning your voice into text in Book Creator. So again, I could change Book Creator to have a capital B, a capital C. It's very easy using the dictation option, and you can change the language very easily in order to be able to create a transcription in any language you would like to. So let's put the word to on the end, and there we are. So that's how you can create a transcript of your text as well, or dictate straight into Book Creator. And as I showed you, I could change the language very easily for that as well. Okay, so those are a few things in Book Creator. There's also the Read to Me option as well, which will read the text back as well. In fact, let me just see if I can show you that quickly. If I click the play button and it says Read to Me, let's see what happens. Creating captioning in Book Creator is really easy. Look, it's as easy as this. In Book Creator, it is also easy to add a transcript for your audio contribution like this.
Turning your voice into text in Book Creator is very easy using the dictation option, and you can change the language very easily in order to be able to create a
So you get the idea. So the Read to Me option has that sort of like robotic computerized voice, but it does work. But it will play any sort of media that's on the page first if there is that sort of media there. Right, so that's a slide around Book Creator and closed captioning, which I've demonstrated live in the last few minutes. This is the Read to Me and dictation in Book Creator. Just to explain this little screenshot here, what I have done is I used a website called photosforclass.com to find this image of this man. I literally just put in the word man to bring it up. I then removed the background of the image, which I was able to create using what's called remove.bg, which is a fantastic website, remove.bg. So that removed the background, and I was then able to search for a cafe scene within Book Creator just using the Google image search, which is built in, and then superimpose the man over the top so it looked as if he was inside the cafe, even though he wasn't there originally. Then I added the thinking bubble and the speech bubble, and then I added some text and I added some audio, but I made it invisible in the way that I just talked about. So when you run that page and click on the thinking bubble or the speaking bubble, it will then play the audio back to you, which is just a lovely way, I think, of creating a personalized narrated photo story. So, of course, you could take pictures of the students with parental permission, of course, and put them into their own backgrounds, their own photo stories in Book Creator. There's also a link to a book here called Supporting Language Learners with Book Creator, which I thought you would find interesting, which is why I've included it as well. You've also got closed captions in Flip, which used to be called Flipgrid. You simply go to the settings option for each topic and enable the closed captioning there, and then that will then generate a closed caption. It does take a few minutes for that to work, but you can basically record a video in Flip, and then it will generate the captions for you after, which you can then edit and also download as well if you want to. Text Help is another resource on the internet which helps a lot with accessibility. This was a webinar that I did with Alison Woodrow, who's a former languages teacher who works for Text Help, whereby she goes through some of the Text Help resources, such as the Read and Write Chrome extension, which is also included here as a tutorial by Darren White, who is known as Ranga the Trainer on Twitter as well. So there's really lots of ideas there on how Text Help can help with accessibility as well. So do have a look at that. So welcome everybody if you have time. And just a thought, if you found this session useful and interesting, as a job, I am an independent language consultant. I run training. I would love to do some training for you if you're interested either on what we've looked at today or a whole range of different ideas. This is a Google Doc I put together with 18 example sessions, and you can cherry pick the things that you particularly like, and I can design a bespoke session for you around how technology can be used to enhance language learning, as well as across the curriculum. And another little plug as well, I'm also working with a friend of mine, Esmeralda Salgado, who is an award-winning teacher. She got the Silver Award for the Pearson Teacher of the Year this year. And we have put together 4 webinars, of which we've already done one on listening and one on reading. And then we've got one on writing coming up on the 23rd of November, and then one on speaking on the 7th of December. You can come along to those. They're not free events, but you can also buy the recordings as well. for the previous webinars if you're interested, and the link to access the resources are here at the bottom on Eventbrite. Or if you just go to Eventbrite and search for Esmeralda, you'll find the resources. So, oh, and just to finish off with as well, here's a little video clip from Adobe Express using their new animation tool, which is great for speaking. Let me just play this to you because it's very cute. Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm really loving this new Adobe Express character animator. What a great way of being able to bring your character alive and practice speaking. While I'm here, I thought I'd mention that the third webinar in the series of 4 with the amazing Esmeralda Salgado is called Writing the Interwoven Skill, and that will be taking place on the 23rd of November 2022, which happens to be my birthday as well. So you'll have to come along and celebrate with us. Thanks.
Okay, there we are. And there's the presentation. So I'm going to come out of the presentation. I'm going to put this in the chat. And I really hope you found this useful. We are going to do some questions as well now, but just to make sure everyone's got the link, I put it in the chat. And if you want to scan the QR code as well, let me put that out of the way. If you want to scan the QR code as well, if I just move out the, oh, sorry about that. Hang on, let's go back a sec. There we are. Then you'll be able to scan that right now if you want to have the presentation. But I really hope you found that useful, and I'm more than happy to take some questions now if you'd like me to. So if I stop sharing the screen, and we can then go from there. Okay, I'm also going to click on the security option, and if people want to unmute themselves, they can do that. You are being recorded if you do speak on the microphone, and I've also given you the option to enable your webcam as well if you'd like to. I'll just turn my video back on. I'd forgotten I'd turned that off. Are there any questions at all? Thank you so much for the nice comments as well. Thank you, Anastasia, and is it Gioba? Is that right? But yeah, if anyone would like to ask me any questions, I'm more than happy to demonstrate some of the ideas again, or go back into the browser. That's fine. Any final comments or any questions at all from anyone? This is your opportunity now to ask me. Okay, well, thank you so much for the lovely comments. I really, really appreciate it. And I really hope that you found it useful, and that you're going to use these ideas in the classroom to make your classroom more accessible. That's what this is all about passing on good practice. That's amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to hand back to Demetrius to wrap us up. But I really appreciate all your kind comments, and do have a think about my training suggestion as well. If you would like me to do a series of webinars, which is easier for me from the point of view that I'm British, and so just jumping on a plane and going to different places in Europe now is problematic because of the whole visa issues that we're now having. But webinars are no problem. I would love to connect with you and do some webinars. Dr. Pangjak Mirotra, it looks like you want to ask a question. Is that right? Or you just turned on your camera?
Yeah, I had a question. Would you be able to send us the slides?
So I've just put the link in the chat. I've just put the link to the Google Slides presentation in the chat, and I've given you the QR code as well. So you have everything. And we're recording this right now, so we'll be able to I'll be able to share the recording with you as well once I've uploaded it.
Yeah, the other part was that I've been using document teaching camera, as I mentioned in the chat, and looks like most of the operations which you have mentioned are somewhat very similar. So I think it's just using the notes, or you prepare your own notes and use them for the purpose of teaching, which makes the classroom very inclusive for all the students and as well as the instructor.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So if you are using some of these ideas already, or using similar ideas, that's brilliant. It's really just a question of putting together all in one presentation, lots of different ways in which we can make our classrooms more inclusive. But it sounds like you're doing fantastic work already, so that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and what I do usually is, I use the Microsoft Word, wherein I try to use some of the images and prepare my text to explain the image and that generally helps. And so translation is allowed in some cases it is not. But I think the students on the other side, they're able to see the subscripts coming up in their own language. So that certainly helps.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, we didn't get into things like adding text for images on the web, for example. That's another thing which I know that can help. So if you hover over an image, it can give you like a text description, if that's something which people have added, which obviously nowadays that is something that should be encouraged. But there's only so much you can do in an hour. But that's brilliant. Well done. And thank you so much for sharing your practice.
Thanks again. It was great learnings from the session.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody else in the chat, or any other comments? So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Dimitris for wrapping us up with this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your really kind comments. I really do appreciate them. And yeah, they've given me a warm glow in my heart on this Sunday. Well, it's now evening UK time. Over to you, Dimitris, to wrap us up.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a very interesting presentation, and we really, I at least personally, I found all the tools that you've shown very practical, and there are so many applications. I would like to thank everybody who attended this webinar. The next survival strategies in TEFL is going to be online on Zoom again, this time with Gelki Politi as a guest speaker, and she will be talking about game-based learning and on how to inspire students to produce language. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us.
Amazing. I'm going to stop with the recording now.